Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome along to your Europa League Final watch along. I am here for a very short time, and then Alex, who didn't know he was on tonight, apparently, says he will be here before kick-off. I don't know if I trust him. Connor's his best mate. He can tell me. Connor, how are you?
Aye, not bad at all. Certainly an interesting game. It's a difficult one for me because this is a match between two teams that I don't really like, to be perfectly honest with you. If there was a way that they could both lose this, get into the semi-finals, I was begging and hoping and praying that we'd have Bodo Glimt against Bilbao. But nah, all good. Obviously sporting my Newcastle colours, so yes, people will mention it, get it out of the way, I know.
Anyways, please do, folks, like and subscribe. Obviously, this has nothing to do with Rangers, but we have done a few watch-alongs in the past. So, Europa League, Champions League final, big games, why not do it? And yes, Alex is currently climbing down the beanstalk to be here with us. He'll be here shortly. Connor, let's run through the teams then. Let's start with Tottenham Hotspur first. I don't 100% know all the positions. I'll pretend that I do. Vicario in goals. A back four of Pedro Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Doggy. In the midfield, we've got Bazuma, Bentancur, Sarr with Johnson. I'm not sure, is Richarlison playing in the wing with Solanke up front? Are they playing a two up front, Tottenham? What's going on there?
Well, I mean, it's. I think it's more a. I think Richarlison.
Know what formation it is.
Oh, it's trying to figure it out. It seems to me with the BBC are reporting that it's a 4-3-3. So I think what's possibly happening is that Johnson will be out wide. I think Richarlison will probably play that sort of wide marauding role where he'll dip in and out, and him and Solanke will probably switch around their positions. I imagine as the match goes on, with one of them being through the middle, and with the other two obviously at either side. So that certainly seems like to me. I mean, I'm surprised that obviously Son Heung-min's been benched for this match, which is an interesting decision. Maybe I'm just thinking get the first hour out of Solanke, Richarlison, and then bring that pace on a Son if it's still tight and in the balance, and he can maybe shift things up a bit. But it's a bold choice to leave a man who's been your captain this season, who's been the mainstay of the Tottenham squad for a number of years now, out of a major final like this. It is an interesting selection he's went for, but some of it forced. I think what sways me towards Man United winning this tonight is the fact that Dejan Kulusevski's
playing.
Not even that. I think Kulusevski missing, I think, is such a huge blow, because I think he's their best player this season, which has been dreadful for them. Regardless if they win this, finishing fourth bottom in the Premier League, I still feel Ange might go, but Kulusevski's been their best player in what has been a bad season, so he's a massive blow.
Well, I'm going to hold you there, Connor, because what Alex doesn't know is that I've just recorded him dancing, as we can see down the bottom. So, folks, I am going to love you and leave you, and I am going to bring in the undisputed king of watch-alongs, Alex. Connor, mate, speak soon. Everybody speak soon. Here's High.
High Towers here! What's happening, folks? I have to be here. Listen, I was dancing away in the background. Couldn't help myself. Connor, mate, how are you? How's things?
Not bad, aye. I don't know how you didn't know you were on tonight. This was your idea, but nonetheless.
It was my idea to be up to date, but then I couldn't get back, so we broke a few speed laws, but it's all right. I'm in. We're good. We're here. We'll just be here. What's happening?
How are we anyway? Where were you? People seem to think you were up the beanstalk somewhere.
I was trying to get back down the beanstalk. Couldn't get back down quick enough. Those magic beans were letting me down. Got in front of the car and couldn't stop. But listen, we are here. We're on and we're ready to go. Team news, Connor. Bit interesting. I heard you before I jumped in. No Son. That is mental.
It's an interesting selection. Yeah, I think leaving him out. Like I say, I can only think he's given the nod to Richarlison and Solanke in the thought that, both of them are strikers, and maybe thinking if it's tight or you need that bit of injection of pace to come on, then Son, he's not a bad option to have coming on off the bench. I mean, I don't think, at least one of Richarlison or Solanke won't see out the full 90 minutes. You're going to see probably Richarlison more likely than Solanke will come off. Because that wide role that it looks like Richarlison may well be playing in, that's a role that Son would be playing in. It's an interesting decision. I can see here people. There you go. There's Sniper, white heart for Spurs, red heart for United. On you go. It seems that people, so far from what I can see, Alex, the majority seem to be in favour of a United win this evening. I'm not sure.
The bias. Look at me, couldn't even get it out because of the Newcastle bias. He couldn't even get it.
The challenge is, I don't like Spurs either. I find Ange, and listen, anybody who's watched the EPL show will know my opinion on Ange Postecoglou. I've had some strong words at times. I find him arrogant.
Are we live on? Are we public or normal, by the way? Because if we're public, I will need to be.
I believe that we are public.
Right, I'll behave then. Yeah, we are public.
But I think Ange has been arrogant. But listen, he's called his shot. He said that Eric Gaffer has been fun by public, that he wins trophies in his second season. So he promised him, basically guaranteed a trophy this year for Spurs. But here's the question, Alex. And I try to find the comment actually. Start on
When it comes to Ange, though, right? I watched a few of his press conferences, and he was obviously saying he was very against, like, it's disrespectful to be talking that we're not going to win and that we need to know this, blah 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 blah. He's promised him, regardless. He said, "Listen, I will win a trophy. I've been doing this for 26 years. I'll win a trophy in my second season." If he doesn't win tonight, he gets sacked in the morning. And I think if Amarin doesn't win tonight, he gets sacked in the morning. It's as simple as that. Somebody's going to get sacked. And I think.
Well, I don't know. Do you think? I think Amarin's got more chance of staying about than Ange because he can impart. Yeah, he's got a bit of a get out and a bit of a get out of jail free card in that he only took over, just over the halfway mark of the season. Now, don't get me wrong, his job was to improve it. He's not done that. We can see the reasons why he didn't want to take the job. He wanted to wait until summer to take the job and stay with Sporting, which I'm sure he wish he did because Sporting just won the Portuguese league. But I think for Ange,
I agree with Blue Matt though that Amarin probably is safe.
Yeah, but do you think Ange is gone either way?
Aye, I think he is. I think he's gone. I think the issue you've probably got with Ange Postecoglou. Now we can take the bias out. I know that we're a Rangers podcast now, so the way he was up here, right? Ange Postecoglou's arrogance has done him no favours in England. The press love to hate him, right? And his arrogance is not going to get him anywhere. See the way he talks in his press conferences, he talks down reporters, he talks down fan media. It's done him no favours. The fact that they've lost as many games as they have in the Premier League isn't going to go in his favour. This has been his only saving grace in the Europa League. They're guaranteed no European football next year if they don't win this game. So it's another season where Tottenham don't get any European football if they don't win today. I think he gets sacked. The issue you're going to have is Daniel Levy's a man that will sack managers. He's done it countless times. Issue you've got right now is that they can't afford to do it, Connor. They're not giving any manager a chance. Yes, he's had 2 seasons and he's been poor over both, but they can't keep sacking managers because then when's it actually going to stick? It's the exact same as us up here. You're sacking managers for the fun of it. That's what Daniel Levy's doing for Tottenham, and I think that he should probably stay and get a bit more of a crack at it. But his Premier League season, his reputation this season has been so poor that he doesn't deserve it.
I agree. I mean, are you surprised he's not already been sacked before now? Because when I think about it, right, Jose Mourinho was sacked by Spurs the week before a cup final in the League Cup. He got sacked. Now, that was a bold decision, and people certainly had, question marks over that decision at the time, thinking, why did you sack him before the final? Surely given that. Is this a case of Levy maybe deciding to go the other way, learning lessons from that and going, well, do you know what? We'll stick with Ange until this final. Once it's done, if he obviously if he got to have heart, then we'll make the decision.
Mm-hmm. Right, couple of questions here for this corner. One for you. Do you think Newcastle can get top 4?
Yes. Everton at home at St James's Park at the weekend. It's last game of the season, obviously, at St James's as well. The fact of the matter is, you look at it and you say, we're going to be bang up for that, knowing everything this is there. We're going to want to leave the fans going home happy. And I think Everton had done an emotional send-off to Goodison last week. And I just wonder if, given they can't move up or down a place, whether maybe that wee bit of emotional burnout will happen for them. But I feel we will be up for it.
Definitely.
And of course, if we win, just to confirm the connotations of the table, if we win, it pretty much is a guarantee. We won't drop out with a win purely because the goal difference is so significant, and you've got obviously Chelsea against Forest, and I go away to Man United, which, by the way, I don't think is as much of a gimme as people make out, because it's the last game of the season at Old Trafford. They're going to turn up for that game, whatever happens tonight.
Do you think the ticket allocation for both fans is shocking? 100%. I think it should have been half each, but the fact that they've given it was only a couple of thousand, was it not? The allocation, it was only a couple, and it's just surely for a final, regardless of where you are, Bilbao, we've seen it ourselves. The allocation is shocking. Surely it should be half the stadium to each set, rather than we'll just give them a couple of thousand and then we'll release it to our own fans. What's the point in that? It should be half a stadium each, because it's a cup final. Do you know what I mean? It's a European Cup final. The allocation is going to be probably half and half for Inter and PSG. It's going to be half and half for Chelsea and Betis. Why is it any different for these two? What, because they're English clubs?
Yeah, do you know, possibly. It's every chance. What I would say is it was similar a couple of years ago when we were playing Frankfurt. That wasn't exactly 50-50, because there was a few thousand tickets that were held back that were, in effect, tickets for the locals, if you will. As you were saying with this, and I think they do that. Now, I get that. If you're bringing a European competition final to a city, then it is nice to allow those people to go. But the priority has to be the fans of those clubs. Exactly. And a 50-50 split makes absolutely all the sense in the world. That's what cup finals should be. Domestic cup finals are almost always, apart from in Scotland, but that, the best one in the world is simply because out with Rangers and Celtic. And maybe an Aberdeen or Hearts, nobody else can sell out the allocation. And even Aberdeen and Hearts struggle, and that's probably your next biggest two clubs.
Exactly. Right, another last week question before we get on with the game. Ian Thompson's asked, who do you want to win and who do you think will win? I want Man United to win. I think Tottenham are going to eat this out, though. I think it's going to be 2-1 Tottenham.
I don't want anybody to win, but except somebody has to win.
Get to answer.
I'd probably just about err on the side of saying Man United.
Right.
I think Man United will win. As I said to Martin there, and I don't know if you agree, Alex, I think missing Kulusevski is such a massive blow for Spurs, because he's been their best player this season. He is. Look what we done at Ibrox, for example. He totally turned that game round for them, because at that point we were battering Spurs. And Kulusevski come on with that calming influence that they just lacked, and a wee bit of quality. And I feel like tonight that could play a part. Look, the first goal is going to be vital, because these two teams, let's not kid ourselves, are mentally fragile. And with how much is riding in this for both of them, the first goal could send the other team off a cliff in a way. So I think that's going to be interesting. But again, I do not like either side. But the reason I say I want Man U to win was twofold. One, I just think Ange needs to put out his misery, and I think for me, his attitude, which seems to be, how dare you criticise me? You don't understand the circumstances. It is unfair. He's even uttered the words that it is unfair for people to criticise Spurs for this season because of injuries they've had. I'm sorry, but
21
losses. Bournemouth had 10 injuries at one point. And do you know what? They came up and they scalped us at St James's, which was not a good day for me. They are sitting top half of the table. Newcastle last season, Alex, we had 11 first-team players out. We still finished 7th. So there's no excuse for Spurs, I'm afraid. And Ange has just been batting down the hatches to make it an us v them mentality, which I can understand to a degree. But that and the fact that Amarim as a manager is more likeable than Ange, actually. I think he's brutally honest as a manager.
And that's what I mean about his arrogance, though, Connor. See, when I'm saying about his arrogance, the way he goes on, they are playing Ian. Don't worry, we'll talk about Newcastle in a minute. The arrogance of Ange Postecoglou has done him no favours, and that's why I think he's so unlikable at this point, because of his arrogance. The way he goes on in press conferences, if somebody asks him a question that he doesn't like, he attacks the reporter rather than just saying, I don't think that's an appropriate question to ask. He goes in on them. It's like,
yeah, don't get me wrong. Listen, I will say there have been times, and don't get me wrong, it's partly his own fault because he's opened the door to allow them to try and press buttons. There has been times where there's been some questions asked of him that have been patently ridiculous, Alex, right? And things that have been said. There was,
Mason Mount gets in the road.
There was the report. What minute are you on?
4:50. What are you on?
Oh, I'm on 5:30, so I'm ahead of you. I'm watching it in Discovery Plus because it's there for free. If with any account.
Is it?
I just log into your Discovery Plus account, you'll get it for free. But as I say, there have been some questions asked him that are unfair. He was asked not too long ago about Arsenal were playing, was it City or something? I can't remember. It was one of the teams, and the Arsenal fans, having the banter they have, were chanting, "Oh, are you Spurs in disguise, right?" Because they were playing well and the other team were playing poor. And you get journalists asking him what he makes of that. Why are you asking him that? Why is he going to give a fuck about what's been sang at a match that didn't involve his team? That sort of stuff is benign, but it happens because he opens the door. And then you had a journalist just earlier this week called him a clown, which is harsh. But again, if you're going to go down a route of being aggressive all the time, then you open the door, for the journalist to do that. And I'm not someone who's on the side of the journalist. I just feel Ange's backed himself into a corner with it, really.
I will say, by the way, I have got no screen right now. It's just buffering for buffering's sake. So I don't have any game. Why is Pep hated? I think Pep's hated because he's got that victim mentality right now. Man City were on that dominance for so long. See, now that it's not going their way, he just wants to then blame other players. Look at the way he went on with Dean Henderson. Yes, he probably should have been sent off, but look at it, man. You're still going to get European football. Crystal Palace are 12th and have managed to win the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I'm not getting in here. But
here's the question as well, Alex, right? See in all reality, and again, I hate saying it, but with these two sides, knowing that one of these teams is going to get a Champions League spot next season, realistically, who's going to 7:30? Realistically, who's going to bring more to the Champions League next season, Spurs or Man United? Yeah. Probably Man United.
Probably.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to. You can if yours isn't working, then I could have given you mine because I say it's free, so it's not as if you need to pay. But
it's free. It's free. It's actually free, so we're good.
It's free at the point of use.
So I'm on. We're good. But I think regardless.
To answer your question, Ian, before Alex comes in, no, we're not playing tonight. I'm just wearing this as this is an act of defiance, just to highlight that I do not enjoy either of these clubs. They're also both clubs that Newcastle United have soundly smashed this season twice.
Well, Nana was a bit shaky there, by the way. They're getting very shaky at the back.
Well, this is it, Alex, and it could be a goal fest with the shape of these two defences.
I've seen it in our chat. This game's either going to be a nothing each or a 4 each. There's like no in between in this game. That's what we're getting tonight.
Oh, no, you've not paid 30. Yeah, it's free.
Oh, you absolute diddy. See when you go on the website, it literally says free right beside it as well.
Yeah, this is free. Conference League, the Champions League. They always show the finals for free. It used to be up until this year, obviously. It was always YouTube. They were showing it on their YouTube channel. Now they've obviously, because of recovery, doing it on there.
What's Onana doing there? He charges out, sees that Richarlison is being attacked here by attacking the ball. Mazraoui's got it covered, and he's just in no man's land. If Mazraoui doesn't get ahead on that, that's 1-0.
It's a big chance. It really is. It's a warning shot from Man United. Corner kick coming up here.
Here. I have competition for the tallest Rangers podcaster. Gary from Narp is 6'5". We'll get the measuring tape out. Not having that. No chance. But he's 6
foot. Because you don't have any competition on this podcast, that's for sure.
Well, I have met most of the guys now. I'm like, fuck me, everybody's tiny. What's going on?
Oh, I tell you, that was right on top here.
How have I still behind you?
I'm in 9:44. Where are you?
I've just tried to get it forward a bit. I'm like at 9:43 now.
Well, it's better than it was. It's only a few seconds. And see, to be fair, you can't
I'll
forward
get
it.
20 quid's worth on David Attenborough documentaries.
You can't forward it. It'll just be internet speeds. You actually, because if you try and forward it, it'll just put you back to the minute you were on.
Connor, he's going to get his fill out of David Attenborough documentaries.
Pretty sure they're free anyway as well. It's only TNT you pay for on Discovery Plus. Everything else is free.
Yeah,
you'll get that, and then you'll no need to. You can deactivate it again.
See, to be fair, I would agree with that comment that from Scott that right now Onana is probably worse than Butland. He's so indecisive when it comes to his box. He gets himself caught in no man's land, and then
that's poor by United. Brennan Johnson's in for Spurs. Oh, saved by Onana, back in again. And Shaw clears it. Massive chance there for Spurs. Shaky at the back. Shaky here. Shaky Stevens. Onana's poor. There's no doubt about it. But much like Jack Butland, he's also capable of having a game where he just is absolutely sublime. It goes for the sublime and ridiculous very quickly.
Right, I'm now on 11-10.
It's going to show me a replay, so I don't have the scoreboard.
I'm like literally just on the replay where Brennan Johnson was in.
Yeah, that's the replay I'm on. I've just seen Onana's save back, and then the block from Maguire, and then
Spurs. We should be like spot on there. I had another refresh there, so I'm on like.
Oh, 11. I can't. The way it works in the Discovery Plus app is if I paused it and then hit play, it would just fling me back to the live bit I was at, really.
11:40 now.
Same. Yep, we're bang on.
It
will fluctuate.
I just refreshed the screen there, to be fair, so it's up. Let me catch up for whatever reason. It's decided, right, I'll let you know. Oh, Connor's on the old monster tonight, or is that your little monster?
Yeah, that's your
monster. I'm on the sugar tonight. I don't need it.
I was
My United are shaking. What are they doing here? Richarlison! Oh my god! What are they doing? Spinning bird flip. Very good. I'll give you that. Very good. Very good. Well done.
That's shocking spinning bird flip. Absolutely dreadful stuff.
That is poor clearance there by Mazraoui, by the way. What is he doing? It's not even Mazraoui, it's Casemiro.
Casemiro, but he's not paying attention. He's just,
smash it straight into
they get it to clear it, and it just hits off Mason Mount, keeping Spurs in with a chance.
3 corners already for Man United, for Tottenham. Let's do that. I can then start messing about with the scores and the doors.
Oh, headed clear for the corner, only as far as Johnson. Dorgu trying to get there, and that'll be a free kick.
You always think, right? You always think those kind of challenges are just stupid because you're giving the referee just no worry about it. It's just that's a straight foul. There we go. Can we have a wee like spike? Go for it this night. Get a wee like spike on the go. Come on. Ange will be back in Aussie flipping shrimps on the barbecue. He will be.
See, the thing is here, though, right, this is the absolute insanity of both of these clubs, Alex, that their performances domestically have been woeful. Utterly woeful. Just dreadful. I mean, they chucked the towel in for all intents and purposes, although Ruben Amorim sort of claiming that he doesn't like that mentality. He still wants them to want to go out there and win games. And to be fair, they put up a fight against Chelsea. Thought he took the lead, but Maguire was offside, which he's prone to be at times when he's in that position. I mean, just look at the goal.
That's got to be a United foul.
That looked a foul, but the referee's waved it on.
He was pulled by the arm down. That's clear as day.
Fired back out line now.
Hey,
remember, folks, try your best.
Born when the Addams Family films were being recorded. Wait till I check this out. You've got to be like early 90s.
Oh no, the Addams Family films were recorded, I think, 80s.
Let's see. 1991. I wasn't even born.
That wasn't too far up before you were born, though. 2 years.
A year.
Like, 92, of course.
I wasn't even born.
Well, you're right, but it was just the 90 sniper right at the start, 91.
Right at the start. And the TV show was in the 60s and 70s.
That's right, aye. Do you know, I knew there was that. I definitely in my head.
What a clearance that
Seen
is
the
off
older
the
TV
line.
show, that's what it was.
What a clearance that is off the line, by the way, from Christian Romero.
100%, Ian. 4th and 5th, but they were lucky both. All the 3 bottom clubs were shite because one of them clubs was actually having a decent season. Might be problematic. It's a corner kick for Man United. They're just trading corner kicks in this half so far. Right, Alex nearly gone here.
We are. What time are you on again? I'm on 15:30.
Also on 15:30.
Ian Thompson finished school by 91. I was still being thought about at that point.
And it goes. Oh, it's not convincing for Vicario. Back out it comes. Diallo. Oh,
and it's just wide.
Fizzy's wide. But I tell you what, Vicario did not cover himself in glory.
How old do I feel? I'd finished college by 1991 and I wasn't even born. Neither was Connor.
Neither, and I was going to say I wasn't born either. I wasn't born until 95, so I was still a couple of years behind Alex.
Scott Kearney had been out of school 12 years by 1991. That was not far away by Amad Diallo, by the way.
12 years by 91. Jeez, oh. I mean, I left school in 2012.
2008.
Christ, I was only second year in 2008. You old bastard.
Look at all the ones in the comments. They're all there. Look at them.
To be fair, no, do you know what was funny? And Wilf, who's in the comments, he might find this funny. No, last Monday night, we obviously done a sort of breaking news sort of special SPFL show, and it was myself, Peter, and Demi had come on, and we were talking before the game before it, and obviously with Tony Docherty being sacked, the talk of the town, Alex, was that Dundee were, and the big name mentioned with him was Sean Maloney could be the next manager. That was who the early favourite seemed to be. So we'd said that before we went early, even when we went on. I'd said to Peter and Dennis, I think Sean Maloney looks like he's the number one candidate now. And then he turned around and went, I mean, I don't really know who Sean Maloney is, but I guess I'm like, you've got the kid.
No.
Well, how can you not know who Sean Maloney is? But, you know, it's honestly.
No comment there. I brought it up. My first wife had filed for divorce before you were even born, Connor.
Jesus. I think Wolf's first wife was filing for divorce before Wolf was born, to be fair.
We could be talking about the Terminator and Connor would still find a way to wangling Newcastle into that chat. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Connor will find a way to get Newcastle involved. Yeah, otherwise, Wolf, you're right. She was born in 2003, so you can cut a wee bit.
No, but this is the thing, though. What I've realised, having only just turned 30 to be fair, but I've realised I am now at an age where people who themselves are adults will not have many memories, if any at all, of things that I remember, or players that I remember from the past, or things like that. And it's a mental feeling, because you're right, she's born in 2003, which makes her 22. But it makes me feel old that somebody who's 22 doesn't remember some of the stuff that I do and some of the players that I do. I mean, it's only 8 years doesn't feel that big of a gap, all things considered, but it actually is a chasm in terms of knowledge.
Oh, Man United are very shaky here, by the way.
And to be fair, Wilf is absolutely correct.
Just regardless of what game you're talking about in the SPFL show, Motherwell's getting involved in some of the conversation.
Yeah. Peter's fantastic, but that debut episode when he came on, every game Motherwell were mentioned in there somehow. I like that though. That's repping your club. That's what it's about.
100% do go. That was much better than Steiner maths. I see there's a wee SPFL.
Yes, there is. There'll be another watch along coming your way tomorrow night. Alex won't be on that one, sadly. You'll just have to make do with me and Martin. But if you remember, you'll be able to join us, or I think it might be public as well, we're going to do a watch along for the Scottish Premiership playoff first leg, Livingston at home to Ross County. And then obviously we'll do the second leg as well on Monday evening. But so do join us for that. Probably won't be as exciting as this game, to be honest with you, but
what do you mean? We're 20 minutes into this game and nothing's happened. Like, what do you mean? This is just a Premiership game at this point. Like, literally, neither team's playing like they're playing in a European final. We're literally just playing it in a Premier League game at this point.
Listen, Ian, I've got a lovely Newcastle scarf that could finish Martin's studio off perfectly. I'm sure that would get him all sorts of views, right? I'm sure that he would absolutely love to have that, because we know how Martin is absolutely a huge lover of the Premier League.
Dorothy with the ball in and back post, Mazraoui. I'm a Diallo here.
Oh,
Bruno.
Sniper's asking Alex, why are you watching the game on?
I did put what, like 2 comments down, and I'm on the Discovery Plus. Because
it's both when I'm on, James.
Don't get away from it, James. We'll have to put up with it when Connor's on. Nobody else wants to do the watch logs, so we'll have to put up with Connor. Apologies.
To be fair, when I'm on the main Rangers podcast, Newcastle do not get mentioned.
What do you mean? You sit in the other seat where you've got the scarf, the clock, the lot for Newcastle.
Well, hold on. I've got a Newcastle scarf. The clock isn't a Newcastle clock. It's just a clock. But this is the thing. Everybody mentions the scarf. Nobody mentions the 3 big Rangers photos that I've got above the clock. A massive picture of Ibrox Stadium, a picture of Mark Hateley lofting above his head a trophy, and then I've got a picture that has got 3 absolute legends of Rangers on it: Davy Cooper, Jim Baxter, and Brian Laudrup. And nobody mentions any of them.
T1000 raging, you can't do any spoilers because we're all on the exact same time tonight. And then Jimbo saying, you can just shout goal. And some people think there's been a goal at some point.
I'm right it with the free kick. Luke Shaw taking free kicks.
Luke Shaw is one big footballer, by the way. He looks so out of shape, doesn't he? Just looks like he's got the beef on constantly.
And I know it's a Rangers podcast, Ian, but I'm not about to take down a scarf that has been on my wall and to do the podcast and then put it back up after it. That's just too much of a hassle.
Here comes Richarlison. Richarlison's just not in this game at all, is he? Just screaming like a man, of course. I smoke this one today.
He's not even playing. But
he's going to turn into Joe Hendry at this point. Just say his name and he's going to appear at some point.
Now what I know we're watching the Europa League Final, Alex, but
a very heavy touch though from Bruno.
I don't believe you've been on this week. What do you actually make of this proposed Rangers managerial team that could be coming in the door of Gerrard, Davis and Jordan Henderson as a coach player?
I think it could be interesting, to be fair. I don't see much managerial experience for Jordan Henderson. Yes, he's played at the top level for a long time with Liverpool and now he's obviously at Ajax, but it's a big risk, isn't it, rather to actually get somebody who's had the managerial experience. I know Gerrard's not had a lot of success since he left the club, but it's an interesting one to see. I think it's going to be Steven Gerrard. I know that there's still the talk about that it might be Ancelotti, but I think that one's dead in the water. I just think that it's probably going to be those 3. Is the fan base going to take to them quickly? I'm not too sure. They might with Gerrard, but the way he left so quickly, if he gets any sort of success and leaves, Davis is obviously a massive legend at the club, and will be known for that. But it's just whether or not they're going to play. Jordan Henderson as a player manager, absolutely not. If he's coming in, he has to just be a coaching assistant. There's no way that he has to come in and be a player. Not for me.
Do you not think he could contribute now?
No. I think it would just be another.
He's
I think
34. I think he's about to be 35. I think his birthday's June. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check that, but he's 34 or 35. Which, I mean, okay, he's not over the hill, but he's clearly nowhere near his prime. So I think it's one of those ones that you probably would use him as a.
I know folk are saying he walks into the team, but I don't. It could be another disaster waiting to happen, especially if being obviously a player coach. You could say that Gerrard could walk into a team. Look at him at some of the Legends games. He still walks about like he's got all the swaz and the swagger. So he could. I just think, what are the wages going to be? Because he's obviously going to want a wage if he's a player and a coach.
Well, he's 17th of June, he'll be 35. So before the new season starts, he'll be 35. But you look at it, Alex, since he left Liverpool, it's not been great for him. 17 appearances in Saudi Arabia, didn't like it. Then he made 37 appearances for Ajax most recently, which didn't end quite as he'd like it to have ended either. So it's an interesting one. But my worry is, what kind of wages are you going to have to pay Jordan Henderson? In the last England squad,
I get Dougal's comment here, right? That he is no Joy Barton. He would walk into the SPFL if he needed to play. I don't think he would play week in, week out. But see, if you're demanding a wage to play, you're going to want to play week in, week out, aren't you? You're going to want to show a point. The issue you've got is that our midfield isn't the greatest right now. We've only got 2 players that are really starting, and they're only starting to come into the team working together. You've got Diamande, who's I probably think he'll go in the summer, in all honesty. You've got Raskin, who's our best midfielder by a country mile, and Barron's starting to come back into a game. So he probably could take over the Barron role. But look at the physicality that you need to play in our league. Folk will just look to snap Jordan Henderson because he's on the coaching staff. I do think, though, that it's an absolute no for Russell Martin. Please go to somebody in the Championship and leave us alone.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, and I get some people say, well, he's still got a year of his contract. I say, but that doesn't really mean anything. It's common knowledge he will be, one way or another, whether it's to us or somewhere else. Jordan Henderson will be leaving Ajax this summer. He will not be an Ajax player next year.
No.
He's basically going to rip his contract up because it just obviously hasn't worked out.
That is a poor corner from Dorothy.
That is a shocking corner, by the way.
And I get that, but we do definitely need the strength in the midfield. 100% agree, right? I just don't know if Jordan Henderson's going to be the man.
No, Davidson is, and that's my worry for Gerrard coming back as well. Is the idea that, bear in mind when he was here the last time, he had Gary Mack alongside him, and I think he was such an important cog in the Gerrard machine. And despite the fact he was an utter charlatan and car salesman of a manager, Michael Beale in his first tenure as coach was important to Gerrard. Taking that away from him, well, we've seen the results of that. It's no work for him in Saudi without that kind of network there. And listen, I'm not saying it couldn't work again. I was hoping for something that might be a bit more of a clean break. You know, somebody that hadn't had that connection to Rangers that you could maybe see come in. Admittedly, you could see that with Russell Martin. He did play for us at one point, but Maguire heads it out.
Listen, I get the comment that from Sniper, people want Vardy, but they're saying no to Henderson. It's a bit of a contradiction when you look at the age, right? But I just think that, see, if you're coming in as a coach, be the coach.
Henderson's a good 3 years younger than Vardy, to be fair.
I don't think Vardy's the man to come in all honesty. If we're looking at Vardy, I get that folk are talking about it. Vardy will stay in the Premier League. There's talks of him going to Wolves, there's talks of him staying down there. I don't think he's going to come up to Scotland. Just my opinion, but we'll wait and see.
Well, there we go. It's really Stevie G or Ancelotti, but there seems to have been cold water poured over the Ancelotti situation. Diallo. Oh, that's good turning for Ahmad. I tell you what, Alex, anything that's going to happen good for Man United is going to happen through that young lad there, Ahmad Diallo, because that's twice he's got right down that side of Spurs and he's causing them some problems when he does get in that position.
I've just had the biggest compliment in the comments. Ian Thompson said I'm making a decent point. I thought that's huge. A decent point. I'll take it. Listen, Henderson would make an impact in our team. I agree to that. He's not a week in, week out player, and that's something we need right now for the consistency of our squad. Too often we're getting players injured, our back line gets injured, midfield, our forwards, and then the rotation comes in, it absolutely kills us. We need that consistency, and I get if Jordan Henderson, how is he supposed to coach and then go on and play? Do you know what I mean? I don't get that. Like, if he can't be coaching and then saying, right, I need to go to a warm-up game.
Well,
He's got the massive experience. I 100% get that. I just
it works for Reece McKay at Airdrie.
well, shut up, right? Make a point here. Geez, peace. I think Christian Romero's picked up a knock here and looks like he might be going off.
Well, Ange Postecoglou will be hoping not.
I mean, he's just gotten back.
Well, exactly. And to be fair, Romero and Van der Venen are the strongest back two that they've got.
Right, everybody, geez, peace. Come on. All the Spanish papers will say he's in because it keeps them talking about him. I reckon he's going to go to Brazil and be with his dad again. He's already come out and said that he doesn't want a managerial job until 2026. I can't see him coming to Rangers. If you're making a comment like that and then coming to the club, we're effectively second choice at that point. An injury for Spurs? That never happens. Listen, I'm in the camp of Jesus Christ, Ahmad. I am fully in the camp of bringing Gerrard back. I want Gerrard back at Rangers. My only concern is, before you jump in, Connor, you're itching. My only concern is if another club comes in for him from either the Premier League, Italy, Spain, whatever, does he go running again? Because he sees the possibility of going to another big club. Because this time he's going to have investment, he's going to have backing, there's going to be a transfer budget. Does he come in and actually become manager and he's here to stay for a while? Or is it, I'm only here again to be a stepping stone and wait for another big club to come in and get me? Like a Wolves, like a Leicester to get back up. Do you know that way? Like a Leeds, a team that's going to step him up. I just don't want that to be the case again because we can't be having a manager that's only coming in to be a stepping stone. We worry about players doing that. We can't have a manager doing it as well.
Yeah, but that's what happens. So the nature of being where we are, nothing to do with the club, but the fact that we're in the Scottish leagues, the Scottish Premiership. If a job for the Premier League in England comes up and they approach you, you're going to listen. You're going to want to. You're going to have an interest in it. That goes for everybody. That includes Brendan Rodgers, who is pretending that come hell or high water he'll see out his contract there.
He won't.
Not
He absolutely
not
won't.
if another team in England comes up, and this is where I feel there are some echoes of Rodgers' return to Celtic in this, in as much as Gerrard left Rangers to go to Villa down south. Now, admittedly, that part of that was on the board because they didn't back him. They didn't give him what he was promised they would get after winning the title. That being said, I think regardless of that, a Premier League job and an opportunity coming up was always going to be of interest to Steven Gerrard because despite the fact people, and this is where I take some, not issue, but where I think we have to be careful with this bring him home narrative, Rangers is more his second home. His true home is Liverpool.
Right.
There's no question about it. That man would walk over broken gingy bottles to manage Liverpool Football Club, and that is his ultimate aim. His ultimate goal is to one day be stood in the dugout at Anfield as a manager of Liverpool Football Club, which I don't blame him for. He was born and bred and raised a Liverpool fan, played his 90% of his career there, 95% of his career. But, certainly Rangers is his second home. It's his home as a manager because that's where he's had any level of success. But he's struggled since he left Rangers, and now it's a case, can he come back and rebuild, but do it more on his own without influences like Gary McAllister being behind him? There are things he's going to have to do if he comes back. For me, the boxes he needs to tick. Firstly, not even just about bringing players in. I need to see Steven Gerrard come back better. I need to see him show that, for example, in cup competitions, he can get past the ties that he was failing to in his first spell in charge. So it is the way it goes. Scott.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Jamie Carragher was an Everton fan when he was a lad, but much like Stevie G, once he went into the Liverpool academy, he never looked back. So yes, you're right. Technically, when he was born and he was a wee nipper, he was Everton. But ever since he joined the Liverpool academy, the man has bled Liverpool red and white. Simple as that. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm not having a go at him. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is you have to put things in context. As I say, his club is Liverpool. We're his second club, if you will, which is, again, nothing wrong with that. I think I'll find out I was a Rangers fan first. Thank you very much, Ian.
Listen, not much has happened in this game, considering that after 35 minutes we spoke about Rangers for probably the good 20 minutes of that. But first booking goes to Amad Diallo and spots of a dangerous free kick here.
Does Stevie G say like tattoo? Oh well, that's unfortunate. He's probably had that lasered off by now, I would imagine, if he did have.
I would imagine so.
But I free kick for Spurs. Does this to you, Alex, highlight the lack of quality on both sides? You know, there's not really been that end product. There's been some good football in the build-up for both teams, but there's not really been a finish to it. You know what I mean?
There's not. Paul's saying that they missed a blatant pullback. I think the pullback was for the booking because he fouled him twice.
He did foul him twice,
Can't understand why anyone would have a second team when your first team is Rangers. No, I don't get it either. Don't get it.
Spinning bird flip.
Exactly. Aye, that's it. Yep.
You're seeing the quiet bit out loud here, mate.
Oh, that's a handball for Solanke.
That's Rambo criticised Henderson. I don't know if Henderson.
Oh, he's gone back now.
Well, no, none of my comments were critical of him, but I mean, you're right. He is a Markham, so that's problematic. But if he came in and he fucking apologies, that was one of those ones that just rolled off the tongue there. But if he came in and he absolutely ripped it up and dominated the midfield for us, I could probably look past the fact he's a Markham. Not at all. I tell you, actually, funny enough, you've seen that. That's one guy I do worry about having an unbelievable game at the weekend, Jordan Pickford. Because he's a Markham, and if he can do anything to spoil us getting into the Champions League, you'd best believe he's got to put in every ounce of effort to do it.
Lenny Euro there, by the way.
I tell you what, by the way, this is every time. I mean, do you know what this is, Alex? This is basics. That's not even a difficult situation to get yourself out of there. All you do there is, well, you've got two options. You can boot it out, or throw in, or you can just pass that back to Onana and let him clear it. Why are you trying to turn back into traffic like that? That's just asking for trouble.
Just absolutely clear it. There's no need to wait about. Question for you. What club have Rangers traded players with most, both ways, buying and selling?
Well, I'm not just saying this because of the obvious connections, but Rangers have had a bit of history with Newcastle at one point. A few players went back and forward. Yeah, aye. Lovengrant's Boom Song went to Newcastle. Rangers brought in the young lads during the Championship season with Haris Vukic and Rolando Aarons came in the door.
And Kevin Mbabu.
Mbabu, yes. Aye. So they've got to be in, just in terms of that recent side of things, they probably want to be close to the top. I was asked a question, and I'm saying that there is a history of trading between the two clubs. So Newcastle, I'm sure, will be.
They've got to be
somewhere in that list.
The ball whipped in, and it's back.
But it's probably Dundee's a good shout for Paul McGorrick, to be fair. Wait, do you mean that 5 don't count, Jim? Of course they count. I did this slack. Honestly, ask me a question, I give you an honest answer. This is what you get. Dundee's a good shout though, because you get Kirija came for their Novo, who, despite the fact they claimed they didn't, Alex, Celtic definitely wanted at one point, but he came to us, which good man. But then that happens. You know, it's funny when you hear those stories because John Hartson was close to being a Rangers player. He failed a medical, and then obviously went to them.
Scott saying Everton.
Everton. That's a fair. Aye. Jelavic, Naismith went the other way. Patterson went the other way.
That could be.
Who we signed for Everton, Alex? Davy Weir came for Everton, didn't he?
That was a bit of a nasty one there on Ahmad Diallo, by the way, from Richarlison. He's left him in tatters on the ground.
I forgot about Zurab Keith. Of course, I forgot about him. Big Glenn.
Or is it because they're saying it's a head knock?
I think they're saying it's a head knock. Well, he's holding the sort of the back of his neck, no, in his head, so don't know if it's the well.
No, it could be given as a foul, but there's nothing to go back and check.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a foul there, I must admit. I think he's probably just had. I hope when you said this is boring, you meant the game and not a riveting patter, by the way.
I've hardly said anything, so it can't be my riveting patter. It's not you. Leave me alone.
Bollocks, you said plenty.
I don't get a word in when you're on, man. I just have to sit here. See, when it's you and Ian Thompson, I may as well just leave the studio. I don't get a word in.
Stevie Davis came for Fulham when he joined us in 2008, and then he came for Southampton when he came the second time. He might well have been at Everton at one point, I can't remember, but I know we signed him for Fulham and Southampton.
Good ball through. Oh, that's a very good clearance there from Van de Ven. Oh, it's very poor from Bruno. Hartson failed his medical because he couldn't get his fat arse through the door. Guessing that's the Muppets in it. Statler and Waldorf. That's the Muppets.
Statler and Waldorf, I believe so. Oh, that's it. That's a goal.
And it's 1-0 Tottenham. Brennan Johnson. And it is a
somehow that went in. I don't quite know how it went in. I've got various realities, but
very poor from Onana, by the way.
What's his name?
Exactly.
I picked Dunk, Gaza, Durant, Goff, Johnson.
That's right. He totally misses it.
I want to see this back because
he fully missed it. He fully missed
it. How the fuck that went in? But then Alex, Man United's defence has been dreadful.
Oh, it's been
the whole game.
It's been absolutely shocking. But look, right, so the ball comes in. Nobody attacks him. Look at this. Look at the space he gets. That's so poor from Onana. So poor from Onana. It's right at him.
Oh, I mean, that's a total.
Oh, could that?
He's not even lifted properly. He's just he's fumbled it. He's missed kick back and it's went in off Luke Shaw's hand.
It could have been a penalty anyway. Luke Shaw. Well, it is. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Man United 0.
And he's definitely onside as well, Brennan Johnson. I don't think there's a question of that. So that is that. Do you know what, Alex? That goal perfectly sums up the two teams that we're watching. Of course, that's the goal that opens the fucking score, and a total miskick for Brennan Johnson that hits Luke Shaw's hand and goes in. That's about right for these two.
It's a Luke Shaw own goal. It probably could be. That should be a booking for Richarlison. That's been about 3 or 4 now.
Man United need to wake up big time.
Yeah, Richarlison's getting away with this right now. That's 3 or 4 challenges from Richarlison that haven't even been talked to by the referee. Look at that.
Oh, I mean, that's got to be a booking, surely.
That's a booking.
That's a booking all day long. Fernandez call.
For Lenny Yoro is appealing here that he's been pulled down.
Falling on deaf ears at the moment, but it looks of it.
Well, as soon as you do it to the United player, it is fair game, innit? Listen, we just decided not to talk at that point there. A good ball out to Ahmad again. Ahmad, for me, is either he's going to take you on. And
that's good. No, he just, I don't think he could get fully over that. It's given away by the Richarlison. No, Fernandez with it back. And it goes. Hoyland's there, but it's blocked again and away it goes.
Oh, of course we get to half time and it starts heating up. What? What's going on here?
You waited on a choice. We're fucking behind in the game. You know, they really need to do something here. And to be fair, I think with Fernandes, that chance, I don't think he managed to fully get over it.
No.
And make the full contact. But it's a decent block to get in the way of it.
United will score, but are they going to score when it's too little, too late?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Spurs have to sour it though. They have to. They've not got any choice right now, Brian. They have to sour it because they know that they've been so poor when it comes to conceding goals. I say, what, 3 minutes added on?
Do you know? So you know that way. Sometimes you wonder. You go, guys, it maybe just going to be their night and their year. When you score a goal like that, that's just so ridiculous to find its way in the back of the net. You do almost have to go, do you know what? It might just be.
The issue you've got, Smudge, is that there's really no other striker for Man United to play. I mean, Joshua Zirkzee's just come back from an injury, so he's not really going to get a start. Right? For the money paid, what player in those two teams has been the biggest flop? Rasmus Højlund. The money they paid for him, Rasmus Højlund. Who else could you really look at? Because none of them really. You could maybe say Richarlison for Tottenham, or you could say Dominic Solanke, but for me it has to be Rasmus Højlund.
Yeah, aye. That was a.
Well,
I mean, the thing is, they signed him, I think, too early. You know, he was a bit too raw. But he was Scandinavian and his name sounded close enough to Haaland, so they thought,
Right, we'll take a punt. Ahmad with the ball in.
There's Vicario, nice and comfortable for him.
60.
You know you've played a bad cross, by the way, when Vicario comfortably takes it.
I know. Well, at half-time, we are going to be leading Tottenham 1, Man United 0. Big second half's going to be needed by Ruben Amorim and his men to get back in this game because Spurs are absolutely loving this.
Well, this is the problem, though. You can't, you know, we've been talking about how the last couple of weeks both these sides have sort of phoned it in the league and just everything's been focused on this. If you're Man United, you can't justify it and then come up with this performance in the final off the back of it. And this is why I don't think it's ever a good thing when teams do that over a period of time, because it makes me feel as if you're not building momentum. And you want momentum, you're at a cup final. You want to be in good spirits in a positive place, not off the back of losing every week.
Smudge, is that not Smudge? Snipers asked me today something I have absolutely no clue how to do on StreamYard. How do you put a poll on StreamYard?
What's the poll? What's the poll for?
Like the vote for who's been the biggest flop? I don't have a clue.
Well, it's not StreamYard you would do it, so anyway, it would be YouTube.
Oh, there you go. No, it's not happening. And one of the guys on YouTube can do it. I have absolutely no clue. Well, Connor,
You don't like this, do you?
half time, 1-0 for probably one of the scrappiest goals we're going to see. Not much talking points other than this referee's not very card happy by the looks of it, but there's not been many chances. But the one chance that is taken is a Luke Shaw own goal that would have resulted in a penalty because it came off his arm.
Well, yeah, possibly. It's bizarre, isn't it? What a mental goal to concede. I'm trying to warn Onana maybe could be on his toes a bit more, but to be fair to him, he's not expecting that to hit off his own player. The big problem they've got, Alex, is that Brennan Johnson has managed to get himself between two Man United defenders and get right across them.
Yep.
Then to make the first contact, and that's what causes that goal. It's been coming in the aspect that you've seen how many times in that first half Man United's defence looking shaky. You know, Spurs' defence has actually looked a bit more comfortable, even though Man United with Diallo had one or two moments. I mean, that one he fizzed across, you thought was in for a second. But Man United's defence has looked really shaky, so you're not surprised that they've ended up conceding a goal like that. But look, they'll need to regroup at half-time and try and get themselves back in.
Is that when you look at Man United's bench, right? The bench is Bayern Deer, as Connor disappears, just gone up. Bayern Deer, Heaven, Dalot, Amas, Evans, Lindelof, Garnacho, Eriksson, Menu, Ugarte, Collier, and Zirkzee. There's not many people that could actually come on and change this game. No, listen, we're public, so for public we agreed if we go public YouTube, we stay on and talk for half time, and Connor just decides not make the rules and away we go. So you've got me, myself, and I for half time, but there's not many players I would actually see. Maybe Garnacho, but he's been very off the boil this season. Maybe Xerxes, who's been injured, comes on for Hoyland. There's not many though that I think are actually going to do anything. A sniper, I can't read it out, but 100% is. Whereas when you look at the other bench, they've obviously got Tell, Son, Mikey Moore, who's actually done no bad for them as well, can come off and help them out. Not even a goodbye. Literally, I looked up. I was looking to get the subs out. Looked up and he was gone. Absolutely terrible. I'm going to game it when he gets back. Didn't even disappear. Literally, he's left, turned his camera off and left me to it. Exactly, Sniper. Not watch along if I'm not on it. And yet Connor says I'm not on tomorrow night. Didn't even ask me to. Didn't even ask. Oh, here he's back. There you go. Oh, and he's away again. The absolute disrespect from this man. Terrible.
I'm still here, you fan, Dan.
No, you won it. You absolutely left the studio and just left me high and dry.
No,
for that.
yes.
No, love how we disappeared. Not even a goodbye. The absolute no manner.
Nature called. Okay, simple as that.
Blue Mac should get an award for the dedication to these watch-alongs. They're so unprofessional. It's a joke. The boss man needs to be watching this. Aye, as soon as we need to be gaining pelters, I'm telling you, Sniper. Yep, fan Dan. Oh, as I was saying,
it was a good recovery because I nearly said something else and then remembered we're on public YouTube. So,
as I said before you disappeared, Connor, there's not many people who can actually come off the bench for Man United to change this game. They've got Xerxes, Collier, Ugarte, Menu, Eriksson, Garnacho, Lindelof, Evans, Amas, Dalot, and Heaven. There's not really many would say that are actually going to change the game.
You're by the way, 100%, Ian, that's exactly what happened in my brain there. No, to answer your question, there's not. And that's the worry for a Man United point of view. I mean, look, they've got players on the bench who, on occasion, Alex, can produce a wee moment of quality. Garnacho isn't averse every so often to do something. But it again, every so often isn't good enough. You're looking going, who's the consistent ones there? Xerxes is a good shout for Blue Mac. Again,
has from an injury, he's not even got a game. He literally come back.
Yeah, that's the worry. But he's on occasion showing that he can do something. I think Kobe Minu might be an interesting one. Can he do something for them maybe? I would definitely not be anywhere near Victor Lindelof if I was Man United because that man's a bomb scare.
He was played as more of a defensive midfielder, but he's actually stepped up with a few good goals, in all fairness. So we'll wait and see what they actually do. But
it's not just going to show Alex that, and I know he had major attitude problems, right? But when Man United let Rashford go on loan to Villa, they didn't really have another striker there to take that spot. And you think, well, Hoyland's not banging the goals in, so you can't rely on him. So surely in January, should they have looked at trying to get a striker in?
I'm getting pulled into this because Dougal and the T1000 are arguing here because Dougal is right. Ian Thompson didn't say goodbye the first time. He just left with, well, all right, we'll see you later on. And before he even got to say bye, he was gone. So he left without even saying goodbye. And if he said goodbye, then neither of us heard it because he was just gone. But like Connor, I looked up and he was just left the studio, and that's what Mr. Thompson did. Second time he did say goodbye though.
What?
I think he's scanning crisps.
I'm not about to. We'll say that, Ian. Right? That's what I've been doing. Yes, I'm eating crisps. No, I'm not about to have an accident just to say goodbye to you. You know what I mean? I had been waiting for half time. To be perfectly honest with you, the last 5 minutes of that half, the old back teeth were swimming. So it was imperative that I got up and left.
Without even saying goodbye either, just went.
Without so much as a buy your leave.
Look, me and Connor are big time Charlies. We have free reign. Well, Connor certainly is big. Oh, there's the jokes there. Wait till he comes back in camera. Jesus,
Oh,
didn't even realise that was Gareth Bale, by the way. Had to take
I mean,
a second.
I think the comments will agree with me that it is bold in the extreme, brave of Alex to try and play the big card. You know, you don't need that coming into the.
Mate, I get the big card regardless, so it's all good. I will say that doesn't even look like Gareth Bale, by the way. I had to take a second look.
Oh, big Gareth Bale, eh? I tell you, that's probably something Spurs would have loved if they'd had Gareth Bale and Harry Kane in their peak together. I'm telling you, that would have won Spurs a trophy. 100%.
Bale and Kane. 100%.
Bale and Kane in their peak together, no question.
I mean, the only time in his career that he didn't win a trophy was when he went back to Spurs.
Yeah.
On loan.
He still, by the way, and I don't know if people remember, but he still scored one of the best Champions League final goals I've ever seen in my life with that overhead kick.
Oh, it was sublime. But then that goal he scored in the El Clasico, he got pushed off the pitch and still managed to run round. That was just sublime as well.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a stash of them.
Incredible. I think Gareth Bale, probably the best Welsh player of my lifetime.
There's nobody even comes close.
You know, I know guys like Ryan Giggs and stuff like that over long term in the 90s were good. Ramsey, when he was peak fitness in his early career at Arsenal, was good, but nowhere near the level of Gareth Bale for me.
The way that Bale started off as a left back and then moved further up the pitch, he just got better and better. Yeah. Then moved over to right wing and still kept going to that trio of him, Benzema and Ronaldo. It was just unbelievable. I think that Bale probably is. I was saying Giggs, Rush run I never saw, but for me it has to be Gareth Bale.
Sniper, you're right with Giggs. I'll grant you we did mention Giggs there. Rush, I did say in my lifetime, Rush was a wee bit just before me was Ian Rush, but you're right. Ian Rush is a bona fide legend for Liverpool and for Wales. I've no doubt about it.
You think it'd be better not having Connor's video and it's not? It's because you still have to listen to him.
No, I think what he means there is that, you know, obviously my devilishly handsome looks not being on camera is an issue.
No, so we still have to listen to your dulcet tones. That's what he's getting at.
Well,
listen, I don't think when you look back at this game, there's not much Man United are going to be able to do. Ahmad needs to stop being as greedy as he is. Yes, he's got a goal in him, Connor, but there's not much players on this pitch right now that have got the ability to change it for United. Bar your Bruno Fernandes and your Amad Diallo. Mount, when he was at his Chelsea days, had a goal in him, but at Man United it's not worked for him due to injuries. There's not many players on that pitch right now that Man United are going to turn to in the second half.
Well, the thing is, I mean, Mason Mount's an interesting one because you're right. He was excellent for Chelsea. Absolutely excellent for him. I never felt Man United was the right step for him. I felt it was a sideward step, really. When you looked at where both clubs were, Chelsea in a slightly better position than Man United at the time, and still are. Despite the fact they've not been without their troubles to bear, but they were building something with the youth. But I just don't know that Man United was the correct fit for him to go to. And then when you think he did come on, almost super subbed it against Bilbao when he went and scored a brilliant goal there, which was funny because I don't know if you've seen, there was a clip on social media that when he got ready to come on at first, he got told to sit back down. He wasn't going to get brought on, and then Amorim changed his mind.
Come on,
Aye, and then something changed Amorim's mind, and he went, "Do you know what? I just come on." It was like, he's ready anyway, Gaffer. Just put him on, and he scored. So he's capable. He can finish if he gets the chance, but it's the consistency. But
right,
United, this is. I can't think the last time Man United weren't in any European competition, Alex, and as it stands, they will not be next season. That's quite an incredible fall for grace for them.
I mean, it's It's probably deserved though, Connor. When you finish fourth bottom at the Premier League, you don't deserve any European football. And the fact that one of these two teams is going to get that, it kind of just it laughs at the competition. Just to say, well, doesn't matter if we're finishing the league, we can have a canter in European competition and then get European football. Man United
Well, the
haven't
thing
lost.
is, yeah,
Man United haven't lost a game in Europa League. This is the first game they're actually losing. They've not lost a game in the competition yet, and now they're going to have a chance of winning Europa League and going, oh well, we can now get back into Europe again.
aye. I think is it the first they're losing in regulation time because they were behind in extra time to Leon. Incredibly, that was the most mental. Oh, unbelievable! 4-2, then they managed to win 5-4. Big slap here at the end, but that's how you know you can't rule Man United out because they've shown that they're pillars of recovery. But it is.
We're forgetting the one man that they can bring on. Well, move to actually get into win a game. Just move Slabhead, the striker. Seems to be his best position this season.
Yeah, well, aye, but if it's still 1-0 in the last 10 minutes left to go, they will do it.
Yeah. Thompson, I agree 100%. We played both of these and they were bang average. The only reason we lost to Man United was poor defending. That's the only reason, because it was poor defending from Jeffy that gifted Bruno Fernandes the chance to score. There's not much that separated us in these teams. I just don't see Man United getting back into this. 2-1 United.
It wouldn't be Spurs' first trophy, Jordy, but it'd be their first trophy in 17 years. Last trophy they won was the League Cup in 2008. Gini O'Hara was still playing for them the last time they won. And by the way, there are weird similarities because Juan de Ramos, who was in charge of Spurs when they won that trophy, got sacked early on the next season. So they're not averse to winning trophies and sacking managers regardless. But yeah, it's a long time for a couple of Spurs to go without winning any silverware. And to be fair, Man United only in the Europa League this season because they won the FA Cup last year. They finished outside the European spots last year as well.
They can't keep getting away with playing so poorly domestically, but just cantering away in either cup competitions or European competitions, because it just shows that they've got that lifeline to fall back on. Don't get me wrong, a lot of teams do. Like we are one of them. Like we've not won the league and yet we're still in Europa League and we're getting that opportunity. But I just think when you finish 17th and 16th in your league, you shouldn't be in a European final.
Well, Scott, the last time Newcastle won a trophy was 2 months ago. So actually, it's longer than Newcastle.
Try that one again, Scott.
It was a 59-year wait. That's true. A 70-year wait for a domestic trophy, but that is over.
Has that ever happened? A club's first cup win is in Europe. It's not the first cup win, but I don't know.
It's not the first cup win, but it's probably somewhere down the line.
Nobody cares about Newcastle. They're not even in this game, and we're sitting talking about them.
I'm just Scott's the one that said that Spurs haven't waited as long as Newcastle, but they have. They've waited longer now. That's all I'm saying.
For the second half.
Well, Spurs haven't won yet, Scott, but you could be right. Yes, that is correct.
No changes for either team as we come back out, but we already have an issue here for that Richarlison. No, it is Romero again.
Well, it was early in the first half as well, wasn't it? He seemed to have a problem, and now is it a landing here, maybe?
I think it's it does jerk his knee a bit.
Well, looks like he's carrying on.
Blue Mark says that Chelsea will finish ahead of Newcastle.
Not if Newcastle beat Everton, they won't. Bear in mind, they're away at Forest, and obviously Forest himself, with a win, could get that Champions League spot. So that, but on paper, that's the game of the weekend because it's almost a shootout between the two of them in all likelihood.
We watch along.
I would rather be in our position than either of those two, just because it's in our own hands. It's not Chelsea technically have it in their own hands because if they win, they should get there. In fact, if they win, they probably will. But for Newcastle, there's no shoot about it. It is absolute certainty that if they win, they're in. It's the same with City as well. City, to be fair to them, winning last night against Bournemouth, they've put it back in their own hands, which is exactly what they would have wanted. So That's all. In these situations, Alex, all you can ask for is to have it in your own hands. To be fair, instead of hoping for favours for elsewhere, especially when one of those favours might be for a rank rotten Man United side.
Exactly. I will say there's a point there from Paul. What's your thoughts on the Wolves striker being sold? I think Matheus Cunha is a great striker in the Premier League. He's obviously got a proven record of scoring against a lot of teams. Wolves have not had the best time, but he's still getting the goals. I think that moving to Man United could be a good opportunity for him. But right now, any player that moves to Man United is not getting the rubber green. So I don't know. The fact that they've been linked with 3 players right now, though, Connor, could change a bit of their dynamics. They're obviously been linked with Cunha, which looks like it's in the finalising contract talks. Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, and Malik Tillman is another one if they lose Bruno Fernandes to the Saudi League. So 3 players there that could actually change this United team for the better, as Amad Diallo floats in a ball, and Rasmus Højlund absolutely spoons that by falling on his backside. Wow.
Yeah. Do you know what they've done there, though, Man United, is what they need to do, Alex, in this half? They need to up the tempo and the intensity. Because if they play at this pedestrian pace, it's going to suit Spurs defensively. They're not going to have an issue with it. So up the tempo and try and get in and about it. I mean, that's poor for Højlund, but it is a bit behind him. To answer,
are you going to the pre-season between Newcastle and that lot?
No, I'll not be there because there's no chance I'll be able to get a ticket for the away end. Because the way Newcastle. No, but we get a ticket in the away end for Newcastle. It's all about season ticket holders and points, much like my jersey at Rangers.
For
so unless you know somebody, and there's absolutely not a hope in hell on this earth that I'd be sitting in home end. So no, unfortunately, I won't be there now. I didn't even go when Newcastle played Rangers last summer.
Question for you: if it is Gerrard and he gets the finances, will he go back in for Joey Veerman? No, I think that ship has probably sailed at this point.
I don't know that we can afford him even with those finances now, Joey Veerman.
Probably not. There's players he's probably had his eye on, but if we're getting Jordan Henderson in that role, then why do we need Joey Veerman?
Yeah, well, United try to press the issue early, Alex.
They're trying to put the balls in, but they've not really got a lot of height. What's going on here? Offside? Foul?
One of the two. A free kick's been given at least, and Harry Maguire's not happy with Romero.
I mean, he's got both hands open, but Harry Maguire's doing the exact same thing.
6 of one, half a dozen the other there. To answer the question, Mac, and I've been asked this question before.
He would. He 100% would.
No. Rangers are the club that I have supported, boy and man. I've been a Newcastle fan for about 15 years, maybe 20 years since. But for Rangers, I supported Rangers my whole life. That was my boy club. They're always going to come first. I've fortunately not had to be in a situation where they've played each other in a competitive game. You know, pre-season friendly last year, it was easy enough I could just sit back and watch a game and see how both shaped up. Obviously, wanting Rangers to do well, but
I do. It's free on TNT and on Discovery Plus. 50 minutes, 30 seconds.
Correct.
Exactly. The Newcastle top definitely tells you otherwise. On a Rangers podcast, wearing a Newcastle top.
I've got more Rangers tops. I already explained the reason I'm wearing the Newcastle top is it's just a sign of defiance. I don't like both these clubs. Simple as that.
Dorgu getting himself caught there. You'd say the Man United need to up the tempo, right? And stop
because people keep asking me the question, and I can't ignore people when they ask me the questions.
Well, we're saying that Man United need to up the tempo and stop playing at this pedestrian pace, right? But if anything, Tottenham are trying to keep the pace going as well. They're trying to play quick. They want that second goal to kill the game off.
They do. They absolutely do. Because if they get the second goal, they'll then feel they can maybe just sit back and soak up the pressure and see it out. The one thing you would say, though, is whether or not their defence is good enough to do that. But it depends when they score the second goal, I suppose. But
I love it.
Next goal is huge.
I love the Shaun of the Dead reference there. Get Gerrard in, sell everyone, buy De Bruyne, win the league, and we'll all go to Loudon for a quick pint and wait for all this to blow over. Love the Shaun of the Dead reference there, by the way. I absolutely love that.
I mean, that sounds like a plan to me, Alex, personally.
We'll probably
just
see
go with it.
Brian in there at some point too. He'll just be in the corner.
Oh, I mean, Brian lives in there when he's in Glasgow, to be fair. Oh, that's a pass.
That's a great ball, but just not going to get there. The issue you've got is that you're playing Mason Mount as more of a winger. Surely you bring on Alejandro Garnacho for that pace rather than playing Mason Mount.
Well, he's almost certainly going to be one of the first changes Man United make, you would feel, Alejandro Garnacho. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. But again, both that's the one thing you would say. I mean, again, Spurs are similar. You know, their bench, other than Son Heung-min, who stands out like a sore thumb really on that bench, maybe Matthias Tell. Apart from that, there's a lot of younger guys on there. Maybe you need to shore it up.
I will say we're on 53 minutes. There you go. Just
Did we not just have a time check 2 minutes ago?
Listen, he asked. When they ask, they ask.
This is true, yes.
Don't bite my head off, right? Calm down. I know, I get that you played wide for Chelsea, right? But see when they're trying to put balls down the line and get that pace to break away, Mason Mount's not your man for getting down that line. Who was that daft sounding Geordie striker that was shit hot?
Alan
Shearer?
You might need to provide a little bit more information. I mean, that's almost as bad as Brian's Who Am I's. You might have to just provide more. Beardsley, Peter Beardsley, yeah, aye.
See, this is what I mean though. Look at Bentancur. That's surely a booking, by the way. Bentancur's tackled him and then pulled him back.
I believe it's 3 into restart. Is it late July? Our first qualifying game will be, I think so.
It's 3. I think it's second round. Second, third in the playoff. That's the way it goes. Look at Man United are trying to get forward and get something out of this, right? And they've literally only got 3 players forward, and one of them was their left back. I just saw Brian's message in your chat. Nick Walsh wouldn't have given that goal.
It would have been inconclusive proof as well for VR, obviously, you know.
It went over the line, even though in Europa League there's goal line technology, it's still been inconclusive. A bit of moaning.
That's actually not the worst I've seen of that. The 2 worst ones I've ever seen of that were Partick Thistle Morton last year. The ball actually hits the back of the net, Alex, and comes back out, and they don't get a fucking goal. How? And then obviously there was when they came back after COVID, Sheffield United scored a goal against Aston Villa. That was
I've seen that one.
over the line. The keeper caught it in the net, and there was goal line technology for some reason wasn't working that day, and VAR made the odd decision that it couldn't get involved because apparently at the time that was the rule. So even though they knew it was a goal, they couldn't give it. It was absolute mad. I mean, Chris Wilder was fuming, as you can imagine, but crazy stuff.
See right there, right? That's just showing what Tottenham are going to do for the rest of the game. There was 3 men around Richarlison there, and he's thrown himself to the ground, and then he's tried to grab the ball, and they've given the free kick to Man United. Then he's rolled about. That's all they're going to do for the next 40 minutes of this game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, that's what they have to do.
Well, I have to say, Alex, that throw-in's been given to Spurs, but that looked a Man United throwing at me all day long.
There's not much I could see happening here for Man United to get back in this game, though. They're so pedestrian that they're actually struggling at this point.
And I think they've just evened up the scores because they've gave Spurs a throw in, Man United a throw in that should have been a Spurs throw in straight off the back.
And then you can see that they're starting to lose their head a wee bit.
Well, this is the thing for Man United. They have to be patient to a degree, but that frustration will kick in very quickly because they need to start creating the chances. And
Oh, that's got to be a Richarlison booking. Surely, referee, you get the yellow card out now. Aye, about time. That's like, do you know what that looks like?
that's about the sixth time he's done that as well.
That's Callum McGregor against us at Ibrox. He's like, nah, let it go, let it go. He's like, Richarlison, right, have the yellow card, you know. He's let him go the whole time. But Ian Thompson, you're right. That's all they're doing. They're just drawing the fouls in. Drawing them in. As a very dangerous free kick here for Man United. Remember the two Newcastle players scrapping with each other on the pitch? I do remember that.
Yeah, Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer.
Right, this has to be a great ball in here. Ball whipped in.
Wasn't a great ball, but it's messy, scrappy, and it's somehow Spurs managed to get it the other way. Wow.
Not got any hand on that at all.
No, he's got away with that there, Vicario. No question.
Yeah, he's got away with that, hasn't he? His defenders have had to bail him out a wee bit.
That should be a simple take, and it's just that toe for Euro might have put him off.
The toes put that toe is definitely put him off.
Defenders have bailed him out there.
Dorgu.
But that should give Man United a bit of a lift, Alex. Maybe a bit of hope that look, there is still a nervousness in that back line. If you can just keep throwing balls at them, they'll fall your way.
They keep trying to whip this cross ball over to Dorgu. He's not getting it. Anytime he does it, Romero's out there to clear it. If you want that,
if I was United and I was putting these balls in the box, Alex, I'd be trying to put them right on top of the keeper. Really test him because he doesn't look confident in those positions, those areas.
Dorgu out to Mount.
That's a good turn by Mount. He's still scrapping away for it. Oof, was kept it in, but giving it away, and then it'll be a Spurs throw.
The issue there for Bruno was that there was no conclusive contact there to give a penalty because he was trying to buy on. The fact that he was kept going to ground with the three of them around him wasn't Bruno, it's Mason Mount. But still, he's done well to hold off three of them, but there's just not a tackle in there enough to get him down.
Do you know what? That's sensible defending for the Spurs defenders. None of them lunged in and just dangled a leg that he could have went over to buy a penalty there. So, yeah, that's fair play to him.
60 minutes in, Connor, and there's not been much action in this game at all. As we are mad here, though.
Oh, I tell you what, they're just not been able to find a lot, spaces. That's what they're lacking.
Slabhead out to Mount. Should be trying to find Dorgu there. Wow, 241 passes to Man United to 96 from Tottenham. Jesus Christ, Tottenham are just punting it at this point. Dorgu, good takedown. Mason Mount. Rasmus. Oh, he just cannot get through. I'd take him off. Get Joshua Zirkzee on.
The final ball just isn't there for Man United. It's lacking, And look at that, 241 passes to 96. It tells you that Man United have had the bulk of control of this game, but the problem is they've done nothing with it. And Spurs, okay, fortuitous though it was, they've managed to find a way through. Man United still seemingly struggling to do that at the moment.
There's just nothing. Like Man United, they've got nothing to go forward. They're so one-dimensional right now, Connor. There's no opportunity for anybody to kind of take the ball and run in. They're just trying to knock it in, and as you're saying, they're putting it on top of the goalkeeper, which they need to do. But Spurs are just doubling up, tripling up. Although that's a great take from Mason Mount. Very
decision making. That brilliant take, then the pass, poor. Again, that's shocking. They pick it up with plenty of space. Fernandes just passes it straight back to Spurs.
Nobody is trying to get forward here for Spurs. Oh, that's got to be a booking for Paddy Dorgu. That's surely a booking.
I don't even think he's giving a foul. He's not even giving a foul.
He's giving a goal kick.
To be fair,
he gets the ball. He does get the ball.
Yeah, but that still makes it the wrong decision then, because it should be a corner.
Give that away to Dorgut. Great run here from Patrick Dorgut.
There's the arrow. You've got to shoot first time there, man. What are you waiting for?
Just hit it. There's no need to try and turn there.
No, absolutely none. It's came in perfectly. Just hit the shot. Spurs are away here, by the way. They could be in. Solanke's touch is poor. Maguire nudges him off it, and they'll get away with it, Man United. But
Amad Diallo needed to hit that.
That was almost the ultimate lesson in being punished, Alex, there. Diallo should hit it at the other end, and at one end, and then up the other end goes Spurs.
They're forward again here. Right.
I mean, I don't think... Has there been a Man United shot on target yet, Alex? I'm not so sure.
I can just check that stat for you. They've apparently had 3 shots on target. I'd like to know where and when, because I don't have a clue. I do think that Xerxes and Garnacho need to come on. And listen, see if Spurs were a bit more clinical there. That's 2-0, game over, done. The fact that they've given Man United a lifeline here is going to open up this game a bit more, because it's going to give them the confidence. Holy crap, we need to play a bit better here. And I agree, Dougal, how did we not beat either of these teams?
It is, but Man United need to find the quality. That's what's. I mean, it's lacked for both teams. This game really has. But
I'd like to
say Spurs by hook or by crook have that advantage, and that's all they'll care about at this moment in time.
They're just not doing enough to go quick. Man United are acting like they're the ones winning here. They're losing 1-0. Move your arse. Lenny Yoro.
Nobody is popping into spaces for him up front.
Amad Diallo against Richarlison.
Trying to take it on. Richarlison does well.
Great straight from Richarlison there.
And he'll send one shot up the park.
And Bruno's just giving them a throw in.
You needed to get that touch though, Bruno, because I think Solanke might have been onto that, you know. He was breathing down his neck. The thing is, though, Alex, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, what does this say about the Europa League this season? I mean, this is, whoever wins this is going to be the worst team you've ever seen win a European trophy in a long time.
The issue you've got is that Man United have done well in the competition.
Well, their route to the final was certainly a lot harder than Spurs. I'm telling you, Spurs wouldn't have get past Lyon. They wouldn't get past Bilbao.
No. So you've got to say Man United, in terms of the cup competition, do deserve to be in the final. But the way they're playing this final is so poor. And there we go. Taking his time. Referee is stopped the watch, though. He has made the signal to serve stop the watch. I would say that Paul's got a better point there. What does it say about the Premier League? Because this is meant to be the best competition in the world. You know, like everybody wants to watch it, everybody wants to move there, and yet we're sitting watching this going, this is poor. And then Richarlison's now saying,
I understand that point, but you can't tarnish everybody and paint everybody in the Premier League with the same brush as Spurs and Man United this season. Do you know what I mean? So it is. The reality is, right, if you put Liverpool in the Europa League, they'd probably win it.
That's a silly question. They just won the Premier League. What do you mean?
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, Spurs and Man United have got here because they've played the teams in the continent. They've got through, and you've got to give them credit for getting through the games because you've still got to win. And that's what they've done. Probably, I think Chelsea Betis is an interesting game. And then, by the way, in another season, that is probably a Europa League final, because that's two sides who that's two sides who know they should be, you know, in a higher European league than the Glazers.
Son Heung-min on. Son to score. Yes or no? What's the prediction? I'm saying yes. Son gets a goal in this game.
Do you know? I think you could be right. Aye. Sort of written for me.
They've not gone for the defensive sub. As Cammy K says, they've gone for the jugular. They've gone more attacking. They want a goal for Spurs, for Son here. Amad again needs to get up. You've not got It's quite funny there, right? Amad Diallo went down, rolling about, had his knee, seen that he was given the free kick and went, all right, I'll just get back up. Let's get back to it.
I know. It's like the switcher off and he said, like, oh, that's right. We're losing. I can't time waste here.
Just, I don't get, though. I do not get why is Spurs making the first attacking substitution. Ruben Amorim should be making the first one here. And it 100% should be another yellow card here for Basuma.
Oh, that is a booking. It is Basuma. This is what Spurs have to be careful, Alex. Do not lose your head, because if they get drawn in here and somebody gets sent off, then that changes the dynamics of the game.
You're right. It was Son that committed the foul, but Basuma's been booked.
Because he's prevented the quick restart by trying to pick the ball up. That's why he got booked.
Well, Yves Basuma is booked. Another free kick here. Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason they took him off, but still. Oh,
carry on again.
Off the line.
What's the line? It's still alive. Euro. It's still Messi in there. Look at that Spurs staying in front in this game.
What a clearance that is off the line. Wow. That should be one each, by the way. That's
remarkable.
Clearance. That is unbelievable. I want to see that again. That is some clearance. The keeper makes an absolute howler of it. Vicario is in no man's land. The header with a scissor kick clearance here. Wow. Mickey van de Ven, take a bow. That is
Vicario again making an absolute meal of it. On earth has Van de Ven done that?
Look at that for a clearance. Wow. Oh, that is unbelievable, by the way. What a clearance that is. That is Dujon Sterling-esque. What a clearance.
It just feels like it's going to be Spurs night. You look at the nature of the piece of luck for the goal to score, and then defending like that. Vicario spilling it constantly, but getting away with it all the time.
What
Man United need to be scratching their heads here now. And my screen's went a bit blurry for some reason.
I still say that Man United need to make an attacking substitution. They've spent 70 minutes with the same players who are not doing enough creativity to get a goal. That's what I mean, Dougal. It wasn't still in the Parkhead, but it was still some clearance. Dujon Sterling-esque, you know. Dorgu to get Dorgu, you have to take your man on here. That's what I mean. Yes, there's two in front of you. Play it forward. There's two in front of you. Go forward. Man United have. I'm trying to word this without actually swearing. They've panicked and defecated in their bed.
Yes, that's precisely what they've done. My Discovery Plus is going absolutely bonkers here. What is going on here?
I mean, the pressure they're getting put under is mental, but they're coping with it.
Mm-hmm. They are just about doing enough, and you've got to say credit where it's due for that. Apologies, but I've had to come out and go back in again here, so 2 seconds to get it back up. Well, I had just absolutely went mental. Right, okay, we're back. 20 minutes left to go, Alex. They are running out of time, man. You're right to defend this goal.
Rasmus Højlund off, Amad Diallo off, Alejandro Garnacho on, Joshua Zirkzee on. I don't think Amad's the man to take off, by the way. I've been taking off Mason Mount.
Mason Mount has gone off.
So why was Amad Diallo the one that... What? I'm so confused. So it's Mason Mount.
It's Mason Mount and Højlund that have went off for Garnacho and Zirkzee.
I do think you have to keep Amad Diallo on. He's got the creativity. He's just not getting any joy down this wing. But there's now actually 3 attacking substitutions that should be on the park. Garnacho will score. I think Garnacho has to. He's not done much this season for Man United, but if he can somehow get them a goal here, it'll be unbelievable.
The thing is, I suppose What shouldn't surprise us about this is, and it was mentioned, I think, earlier on, just as the game was, or just before the game started, or just as it was starting, one of the two. Spurs, of course, have played and beaten Man United 3 times this season. Oh, goodness me!
Oh, that's a miss and a half.
Why has he went diving header there, though? Could they not have took that with the feet?
I think I've dropped behind you, by the way. What you at?
Well, I've just seen Fernandez head it wide.
What minute you at, though? Because I think you dropped ahead of me. You were like going on about it before.
But short, 72-14.
I'm watching the highlight. No, mine just gaff. It's not going to refresh mine.
Mine was doing that as well. That's why I had to come out and refresh it, because it just went mental.
What gaff? What did I do? It was a gaff. We're going to have to put you back on with the afternoon rambles with Trev after that gaff, mate. What gaff did I do? But I said that he was going to have. That's not a gaff. Calm down. Listen, I can do it. I'm off work this week now, so I can do any afternoon ramble. Don't tell the boss man, but because then all of us in these days.
Good job he won't be watching or listening to this at all, right?
No. That was their chance. That was their chance, by the way, to get back in this game. There's not going to be many more now.
2 massive chances they've had. The acrobatic goal line clearance for Van der Ven, and then Fernandez has to do better for me. But 17 minutes left to go. They really need to find something and find it very, very soon.
He'll definitely be lurking somewhere.
There's Garnacho.
Great takedown from Garnacho.
Oh, Vicario held one this time.
Are you ahead of me? I got the subs wrong. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
And that's obviously a fresh dye job for Garnacho there, because you wouldn't miss him with that hair. Jeez,
No, you definitely would not. I saw that in the WhatsApp group. Keller apparently interested in taking Barry Ferguson as their manager, Connor.
I thought Fergie said that if he didn't get the Rangers job, he didn't want any job.
That's what he came. That's what he did say.
Saved by Vicario. There's that wee bit there, Alex, that Garnacho can offer you. Just a wee bit more directness.
Try to get back level with you now. What minute? Yeah. Oh, every time I ask, we go to a replay. It's a strong handle.
You're asking every time we go to a replay.
A great save though.
74-22.
I'm behind you then by like 4
seconds. 74-24 now.
I'm like 4 seconds behind you. Is that right?
Right, corner kick. Fernandez. Wasn't the worst corner, but just nobody get on the end of it really.
Ahmad though.
Oh, it's a lovely wee pass back through to Ahmad. Down the byline, but we'll go for a corner kick again. Just couldn't quite get the control of it when it came back to him there, Ahmad.
Yeah, I just couldn't get it.
I mean, it will not go down as a classic final, this, Alex, by any stretch of the imagination. But I tell you what, if Spurs win this and it's 1-0 and it's by that goal, they will not give a crap. They will not get a job.
You've got to say, though, Man United are now pushing for this stuff. They're throwing Harry Maguire up top. Luke Shaw. They need to, at this point, still, Connor, they have to properly recycle this ball. They cannot waste it like that. Like, that's a complete waste.
I mean, Spurs have been camped in their own half.
That's a great tackle, by the way, from Patrick Dorgu. A great challenge. Son was away there. Garnacho again out wide here.
Oh, that's a foul, surely. The ref's giving a goal kick there.
That's 100%
well, the referee wants to work at his hand signals because that was confusing.
What's he giving?
That looked a foul, you know. That's a good challenge for Dorgu. I want to see this one backed off for Porro.
It's a great challenge.
That's a foul. I mean, it's a foul from Pedro Porro. 100%, but it's a free kick. It should be, but he's given a goal kick for some reason. It's a Stonewall free kick, by the way, but it's no penalty because it's outside the box. But it got away with one there again, Spurs.
And just paid them to get away with it, though.
I just have a feeling. I have that feeling that this is done, you know.
This one was not great, by the way. TNT can
Spurs might have won this.
away. United are waking up, but they're waking up far too late. There's only 14 minutes to go.
The fact is, as I said earlier, you can't basically down tools in the league to build up for this game and then put in a performance like Man United have done here, particularly for the first hour of this match.
Just like the net move to Easter Road corner. Listen, they've completely down tools in this game, and they're the victims of their own failures of this season, because the fact they've got to a European final is all good and well, but the fact that they're playing like this now is just unbelievable. One of my pals just said, and I agree with it, there's absolutely zero urgency from United to get forward here. None.
Oh, it's shocking. It really is. You are 1-0 down in a European final, a Europa League final, a match that is make or break for your campaign. You win this, you get the Champions League, you can salvage something from it. You lose this, then this campaign is an utter
They're defending as if
catastrophe.
defending
Don't get me wrong.
they're winning, though.
I'm not sure that Spurs winning this means they can all of a sudden turn around and say, "Oh, we've had a great season, lads."
They've not.
You've not.
There's a few
But
I've seen.
You'd rather win it than not.
If United, no, if Tottenham win this, have they had a better season than Arsenal? And it's just no. Yes, they've won a trophy, but you can't finish 17th in the league and say you've had a good season. Arsenal were exceptionally well in the Champions League and got put out by a team that probably are going to win it.
No, that's true, but this is Arsenal's worst nightmare. This, Alex. Spurs winning a trophy and them not is they, because the Spurs fans will say even in our worst season we managed to win a trophy and you still can't.
Exactly.
That's the problem that your Arsenal fans will have. They'll not live that down, not for a while. Albeit it's funny because I suppose if you're Arsenal, your comeback would be, well, I mean, you've won a trophy in a competition that we weren't even in, so it's not like but then being in a competition doesn't mean you would have to play that team to win it necessarily, because you get knocked out by somebody else.
I think Ange probably still gets sacked. I do think he still gets sacked, but you can at least say, well, I told you I'd get you a trophy in my second season, and I've done that.
Yeah.
Right now,
if you're Daniel Levy, you're asking about where's the future after this, and what happens next season? Is Ange still the man to take it forward? Is he going to get them motivating and moving again in the Champions League? And financially, the money that they'll make for winning this Europa League, all it does is basically makes them just about break even for the money they lose by finishing so low down in their league positioning.
it's just I'm getting so bored watching this and saying this over and over again. There's no urgency from this United team. Ahmed Diallo standing so far out wide, going, give me the ball. Make a move inside then.
I know, exactly. You're standing there, you shouting for the ball and you're not making moves. Make a move. Find the space.
He's now moving.
It'll be a throw in. Man, you really need to step up the urgency here. There's 10 minutes to go, and as you say, it's just nothing for them. Absolutely nothing.
You also need to pause your stream a minute. Good ball in.
As I said before, I can't, because if I do that, it will just ping me back to the live. But anyway, unfortunately that's the way Discovery's thing works.
It's just this is honestly playing like it's like we'll not get 3 points at it, but we put in a good effort. You're going to lose a European final. Like, what do you mean?
I know, exactly.
Great ball that to Diallo though.
The problem that Man U are having is every time they put a cross and put a ball in the box, it's a Spurs player who's getting on the end of it constantly.
Lenny Yoro. Ball in again, and Garnacho's going to have to rescue this. Now, that's what I don't agree with. Xerxes just ran it wide off from the support. You're the striker. Get in the middle. Garnacho.
What's the point in him being out? Like, you need somebody in the middle. Do you know what I mean? If
Man United loses for me, it raises concern about us appointing a young coach like Ancelotti who sticks to formation, style of play and philosophy that doesn't always deliver results or win games. But then Amarin did say he didn't want to come in until the summer, so he's kind of been forced to play with players that aren't really his own, and he's not really had the best time. I just think that once he starts getting his own players, you might see a different team, but
Spurs could be in here. Solanke. Oh, almost found Son. What a challenge that is. Mazraoui.
That's a great challenge there, by the way, because if he doesn't get that, Son is either getting a penalty or it's 2-0. Now, Line of Euro.
That there, Alex, is so frustrating, by the way. They come away from it at the back at pace, and then as soon as they get into the forward area, it just slows right down. I mean, come on. You're about to lose a European final. You're about to face no European football next season, and this is the horse shit you deliver to your fans.
Couple of subs here for wee man. I wouldn't be celebrating that you're on the telly. Your team's getting beat 1-0. I wouldn't be celebrating.
I know that might come back to bite me in the arse.
Be at school, be like, oh, why are you off school? You were in Bilbao. Where were you? Your mum said you were in dentist.
Sick, were you? Aye, dentist, was it? Aye. I get a wisdom tooth. Aye, what were you getting a ticket in Bilbao? Aye.
That's the way they're playing. They're playing like they're losing 3 points, and it just winds me up that this is the way they're playing. You're not losing 3 points. You're losing European football next season.
Yeah. This all over. This game has been just awful. The quality, you know. I mean,
Darlock coming on here.
Spurs' goal was just that goal winning the Europa League final for Spurs would just sum this game up for me. I think, and that's what it looks like it's going to happen.
I thought the exact same. Champions League finals next Saturday because the Conference League is next Wednesday, which is so bizarre that they've went Europa League, Conference League, Champions League. Should not be Conference Europa champions.
Well, that's what I feel, because then you're building up, aren't you, to the big event. You know what I mean? It makes no sense.
Start. Right, give it to Ahmad. He's screaming for it, even though he's done absolutely nothing this game. Give it to Ahmad Diallo.
Wow.
Just poor on poor on poor. That's a foul. That's not a booking. That's not even a booking.
Yeah, nah. Listen, I hate that. You know, I know we say no spoilers and stuff like that, but I don't think it's a spoiler at all. This game is over, right? Spurs have won the Europa League.
Not a spoiler. This game is done. Is this Man U TV tonight? Absolutely not. It's not by a long shot because we are saying that Spurs are going to win it. But when you've had 71% of the ball, how can you play like this? That's just shockingly bad. And the fact you've just brought on Diogo Dalot, yes, Marjavi's done, but you brought in a defensive fullback to go and win you the game. Cammy Case 2-0. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either, no. To be fair, it's probably for this free kick, isn't it?
The issue is that we're all on the exact same time, so I don't know where you're getting your 2-0 from. But it's just
loaded in for Son. Oh, hey, where's the far away?
Nah, and it's out for the goal kick.
Danso was in there.
Oh, Kevin Danso.
Yeah, he'll be Danso on the dance floor.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I was waiting on the joke and everything too. I was waiting on it as soon as his name was mentioned. You were waiting on the dancing joke.
Well, the referee's awarded a free kick here by United, but I'm not sure what it was for, Alex, to be honest with you.
I don't have a clue. I'm sitting here on what the fuck.
Poor again, that free kick. They've rushed it to try and take it quick, which I get. Time is of the essence and all that, but quality.
They have to put Maguire up top. They have to. Right, get the cards out. Help my cup in it. Get the cards out.
There he is. He's went offside there again.
Right, Harry Maguire's offside. Your dog is down injured. Oh my God, it was like a stud away from being 2-0.
How close was that, by the way? That's unbelievable.
Stud away from 2-0. Danso on the ceiling. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, I tell you, they've branded this after Palace winning last week. They've kind of branded this the season of the underdog in these finals, and I guess Man United probably come into this as slight favourites, so you could say Spurs were more underdogs here.
Oh, Joshua Zirkzee. I'm just no, don't. You're encouraging Connor at this point.
So in the moonlight as well, Reece McCallum, superb stuff.
I see them all. I do see them all, but I'm just avoiding. No, don't bring them up. It's been a season of birds, Connor.
This is true, yes. The Eagles, the Magpies,
Listen,
the Cockerels, is it?
Mark Goldbridge is there for theatrics, 100%. Anytime they score, he comes up with some stupid pun or theatrics just to get people watching. It's all he does.
Romero is rolling about on the floor like he's been poleaxed.
There's a booking for Harry Maguire.
I mean, if you're Man United players, Alex, just get out the way of that.
Save the last dance.
Hold it up any longer than you need to by surrounding the ref. Just move on. To be fair, there's no need for Romero to be down acting like he is, but that's just ultimate time wasting.
Save the last dance though for me.
Oh. It's murder on the dance floor.
Oh, look, E&T, we've got out here. E&T got that off of Talk Sport this morning.
Smudge, you're correct. El Crapico lived up to it. It certainly did. And if there is one bright thing we can take from Man United losing this game tonight is that Mark Goldbridge will be having an absolute meltdown.
And I think Casemiro is going to be coming off here for Kobe Menu. He's my private dancer. Oh, just go stop, man. Dance with myself. Is that Odebert and Mikey Moore coming on? Of course they didn't claim to come up with it. That Dougal is a bully. He loves bullying you. It's not Mikey Moore, that's what's his name again? Oh, I can't remember his name. Archie Gray.
I'm just annoyed because Ange Postecoglou, that smug bugger, is going to kill. I told you, mate. I was in for the second season.
Oh, I knew it was going to happen. Yeah, I knew it was going to happen, mate. I was going to win a trophy in the second season. I told you, mate. Don't disrespect me. Danso Queen. Jesus Christ. Private Danso. Tiny Danso. Mike Moore. Didn't he? Oh, that was Macklemore.
Let's dance.
Let's not. Jed Spence.
Well, that 17-year wait for Spurs is now minutes away from coming to an end. I don't know how long it's going to be added on, but I imagine a fair whack might come on here because that's been a bit of time waste in the last 10 minutes.
6 minutes. It's 6 minutes to be added. I don't know though, but I think it'd be 6. Is it?
I was thinking maybe 8 minutes personally, but 6 might be about right, you know. It's not actually, it's got the added timer taken away. 7 minutes, right in between us, Alex, right in between us. Shut up and dance with me.
Rhythm is a dance show. Oh, what's going on here?
What the hell is happening now?
Is he going to the bench? He's the managers? What? Oh, somebody's getting
he is just booked. Victor Lindelof has just been booked, I think.
It is Victor Lindelof, aye. Not even. Well, Paul, there's scalpers. Your opportunities of even getting on this pitch now. Oh,
yes, I do believe he just called the fourth official effing stupid, so that's probably why he's been given a booking there. He probably can't do that.
Going to warrant a booking that, to be fair.
And yet, factually, he might not be incorrect, but it doesn't matter. You still can't say it.
He's not going to fight your case.
No, never for Man United, and never for Spurs to hold on here. Oh, that is terrible, 50. What are they doing? You shouldn't be surprised when you know how poor these two teams are, Alex, but you just look at it and you go, come on, you have to have something about you. Maguire in there.
I mean, you said yourself, Connor, the fact that that's the goal that's going to win you a trophy is absolutely disgraceful, man. It's so poor that that's what's going to win you a final. But listen, all Tottenham, not Tottenham, I've said Spurs and Tottenham, they're trying to say Man United, right? That's how poor this has been. It's messing with my brain now, right?
City would lose the school draw coming out with extra time and penalties here. Man United are not scoring. I know they did it against Leon, right? I get that, but this ain't happening tonight. There's nothing about it.
In this game, it's crossed it in over and over and over again. They've done nothing to keep the ball on the deck and try and work it in. All we man is we come back to biting the arse now. You were getting it all, kissing the crest and everything. Now you're greeting on telly. You're well getting pillars at school on Monday morning.
It's a damning indictment of Man United. This really, Spurs
I'm going to get it for Billy and Wayne. Sorry.
Spurs have been sharp tonight as well. Make no mistake about it. They've been poor.
Been rotten.
But they've managed to get the goal. Doesn't matter how they got it, they've got it. And Man United, there's been no response. None whatsoever.
Amarin could get sacked because Man United need this payment from the Champions League to get in. But I can't see them both being sacked.
I'll grant you that, Paul. Tottenham, the defenders have done well. I mean, the keepers put them in a knife edge multiple times.
Johnny Evans has been booked. What's Johnny Evans been booked for?
Mickey Van de Ven and Romero and that, they've done really well for them, I must say.
What's Johnny Evans getting booked for? I thought it was Victor Lindelof.
But maybe both have been booked. It was definitely Lindelof, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely was Lindelof.
Oh, listen, Ian, that's exactly, you're right, and that's what I'm saying. Spurs won't give a job. You wouldn't. You don't care how you win, how the ball goes in the back. None of that matters. See, as long as you win at the end of the day, and that's the ultimate outcome and the end result, you take it. So you're right. If we won like this back then, I wouldn't have cared. But you're surprised that you've not seen more.
All out, by the way.
More of a threat for Man United at any point.
Oh.
And that was a good ball. But again, it's a Spurs head that's getting on the end of it. And credit to the Spurs defenders for constantly being there where the Man United attackers have just lacked.
Chinese guy greeting in the crowd must be a Man United fan from China.
Well, we all know that most Man United fans do not live in Manchester.
Nope.
Bruno Fernandes, that's a good turn there. Shifts it to Garnacho. Garnacho tries to feed it in, but again, that's poor. Not fully dealt with, though. That will come back to Bruno Fernandes, who feigns the shot and just turns it to Garnacho again. Euro has just blazed it well over the bar. What a waste that is.
Oh, that's a complete waste. Complete waste. The fact that he's done that in a final, you've just given the game to Tottenham.
It's such a... Why are you doing that? Keep the pressure on. You've got the numbers in there. But...
See, me actually look at that there. Diogo Dalot at the back post was free as a bird. Man United have had 72% possession, 13 shots, 5 on target, compared to 29% possession for Spurs, 3 shots and 1 on target. I suppose they've won this. There's absolutely no getting away with this now. They've won this now. Like, this is all now Spurs. They can celebrate from now because this isn't going to change. Regardless of how much they have the ball now, this is Tottenham's to lose.
I mean, there you go, Neil Anderson. That sums it up, Alex. 28% possession for Spurs.
Aye.
Do you know what it's not about? Having the ball, it's about you do and you do with it when you have it. And Man United have done nothing with it of any real note. And then Spurs have defended well, to be fair to them. And as I say, they do not care how they've won this game. The fact is they've won it, and that is all that really matters. Right, Scappy down. Somebody's went down in the box. The referee is waving the hand, so he's not interested by the looks of it.
Well, look at this.
Well, VAR, have a look,
look at that.
Well, waiting to see if there's a VAR check. Nothing being said as of yet, or nothing flashing up on the screen. I think it's been cleared, to be honest. I'd like to see it back closer to see actually what happened, but we move on. Diallo goes wide across. You've got to... This has to go in the box here for Diallo. It's not a bad one. There's the save, David Carriel. That was it.
That's a great save, by the way.
That was the chance.
Aye, that's the chance right there. That's your final right there. That is the
They
chance.
say you get one chance. That's the chance, man. You have blown it. Oh, man, you're coming forward again. Diallo with the ball in. Oh,
It's just not going to go. It's just
seconds
not
left in the clock for Spurs. Can they see it over the line? It looks like they will. Diallo again, picking it up. Goes down the byline. It'll be a corner kick, I think. There's just about time to take this corner kick. 4 seconds in the clock. Wowee. Good save for Vicario. It's central enough for him to save it. And the one time a Man United head gets on it, and it's Luke Shaw. Probably wanted that to be Harry Maguire, didn't you?
The corner of all corners, Connor, to save your
Talking
season,
about defining moments, this is it.
or to get the final whistle. Onana is up as well. Everything is going to go mad here.
Spurs survive this. They will be Europa League champions. Here it comes, Diallo. And that's the pinnacle moment. Garnacho's going to be there, and it's the side net. It'll be a goal kick, and that will be that.
That is it for Spurs, and that is the final whistle. Got to be the final whistle. Surely Garnacho's the man there. Yes,
Casemiro's took it off Garnacho's toe there. It's got to be. That's Garnacho's all day long.
Got to be.
No talking to each other there, Alex. Give him the shout. That's got to be Garnacho's ball.
That's got to be the game. I mean, how much time is the goalie wasting here? But that is the final whistle. And it has finished, Connor. Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0.
Well, Spurs
Tottenham won the Europa League and have guaranteed themselves Champions League football next season. And
Postecoglou, to the annoyance of many, called his shot at the start of the season, guaranteed a trophy, and well, he's produced it.
And he has. He's produced it right there. Wow. So
one of the worst Europa League finals I've ever seen, one of the luckiest goals you've ever seen to win a Europa League final, and one of the worst responses from a team going behind in a Europa League final. I mean, nothing. Toothless Man United, you've got to say. Fair play to Spurs, and all credit to Big Ange for getting the job done there. You know, they don't care. But I have to be honest and say, Alex, I cannot believe that I've just seen a club like Manchester United, steeped, rich in European history, put in a shift like that after throwing the towel in the league. Poor, to say the least. But Spurs, they'll finish probably fourth bottom, but they're in the Champions League next season, having won the Europa League. It'd be interesting to see what the future's going to hold now for both clubs. That is for sure. But dear me, I tell you what. How could we not have played that Man United team in 2022? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And you know, on such a grim thought, we are going to leave it there, Connor. What a game it's been. Listen, Connor, Martin, and possibly myself will be back for your SPFL special tomorrow night as we see Livingston take on Ross County in the first leg of the playoff final. We will be back for your afternoon rabble tomorrow as well. But
a veritable clash of the Titans compared to this.
That'll be a goal thriller tomorrow night. So we will leave it there. Connor, cheers again for joining me for tonight, and we will see you all very, very soon. And as we say, take it easy and cheers.